Stop everything. Stop scrolling. Stop talking. Right now, listen, I'm about to tell you a secret so powerful, it will change the way you live your life forever. The secret nobody teaches, nobody shares, nobody wants you to know. If you want success, respect, and power in life, you don't need to shout, beg, or explain yourself. You need one thing: silence. Stay silent and watch the world start moving for you. This is the secret power that will shake your life to its core. Let me tell you the truth. Most people think talking, showing off, and proving themselves will get them what they want. But the real winners, they move in silence. They don't chase attention. They don't argue. They don't need validation. They watch. They learn. They grind. And when the time is right, they act, and the world notices. Silence is not weakness. Silence is your secret weapon. It gives you clarity when others are confused. It gives you strength when others are weak. It gives you power when others are desperate. Today, I'm going to show you why staying silent will make everything come naturally into your life. Why patience, focus, and observation will make you unstoppable. If you truly understand this, your life will never be the same. Let me tell you something right now. Most people are scared of silence. Most people think silence is emptiness. Most people think if you're quiet, you're weak. But let me tell you this truth. Silence is the most powerful weapon you can have. Silence is not weakness. Silence is the focus. Silence is clarity. Silence is the fuel that will propel you to the top while everyone else is busy talking, arguing, and wasting their energy on things that don't matter. Think about your day. How much energy do you spend trying to explain yourself to people? How much time do you waste arguing online, debating, proving, or defending yourself? Stop and think about it. Every word you waste, every minute you spend on someone else's approval, every second you dedicate to proving your worth, gone, wasted. That energy could have been used to sharpen your focus, to strengthen your mind, to move you closer to your goals. That is the power of silence. It protects your energy so that nothing distracts you from what matters most. Look around. Look at the people who are loud, the ones who are always talking, always arguing, always proving themselves. Where are they in life? Most of them are stuck. Most of them are frustrated. Most of them are tired because they spend all their energy on things that don't move them forward. But the quiet person, the one who chooses to stay silent, to observe, to focus, this is the person building an invisible empire. This is the person who will rise above noise because their energy is concentrated, their mind is clear, their actions are precise. Silence gives you clarity. When you stop talking, your thoughts start aligning. When you stop trying to impress everyone, your priorities become clear. When you stop reacting to every little distraction, your purpose becomes sharper than ever. You start seeing the steps you need to take, the moves you need to make, the people you need to surround yourself with, and the opportunities that you need to grab. Silence creates space for strategy. Silence creates space for wisdom. Silence creates space for unstoppable focus. Now, let me break it down for you even deeper. Focus is like a muscle. If you scatter it, if you break it, if you waste it on unimportant things, it weakens. But when you guard your focus, when you protect it with silence, when you shield it from distraction, it grows stronger every day. It becomes unbreakable. It becomes unstoppable. It becomes laser sharp. And let me tell you something else. Focus plus action is a killer combination. When you take all that energy you saved by staying silent, all that mental clarity, all that discipline, and you turn it into action, nothing can stop you. Nothing. Think about every legend you admire, the people who dominate their field, the ones who inspire you, the ones who leave a mark in history. Do you think they spent their time shouting, arguing, or proving themselves? No, they stayed quiet. They focused, they learned, they observed, they worked while everyone else was distracted. And when the time came, they struck with precision. That is what silence does. It lets you move like a sniper, unseen until the moment you decide to take action. And here's the part most people miss. Silence also builds discipline. Discipline is what turns focus into results. Discipline is what turns dreams into reality. Every time you choose silence over noise, every time you choose observation over reaction, every time you choose strategy over chaos, You are training yourself to become stronger, smarter, sharper. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Silence is the foundation of that discipline. I want you to picture your life if you truly embrace this. Picture yourself stopping all the unnecessary noise. Picture yourself redirecting every wasted word, every wasted second, every wasted argument into building your skills, sharpening your mind, and taking unstoppable action toward your goals. Can you see it? Can you feel it? That clarity, that energy, that focus. This is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. This is what separates the ones who talk from the ones who dominate. Let me be real with you. Talking will never get you there. Explaining yourself will never get you there. Arguing will never get you there. Only focus, only clarity, only action built in silence will move mountains in your life. Silence is not absence of activity. Silence is preparation. Silence is strategy. Silence is the calm before the storm. When you finally unleash yourself, when you finally take action with all the power you've been quietly building, the results will speak for themselves. The loudest people in the room may fade, but the one who masters silence, that person changes everything. So I'm telling you right now, if you want to level up, if you want to win, if you want to see results that shock the world, start embracing silence. Protect your energy, guard your focus, build your discipline, sharpen your mind, move in silence. Let your actions speak louder than words ever could. Let your results define you. Let the world watch in awe as the quiet one rises, unstoppable, unshakable, and unstoppable. Let me tell you something most people will never understand. Watching, observing, and staying silent is one of the most powerful skills you can ever develop. Most people are so busy talking, reacting, defending themselves, proving themselves, and trying to be seen that they miss what's right in front of them. They miss opportunities. They miss lessons. They miss patterns, and they miss the chance to rise above. But the people who truly win, the people who dominate, the people who achieve what most only dream about, they understand the power of observing in silence. You see, when you open your mouth to argue, to explain, or to prove yourself, what's really happening? You're wasting your energy. Every word you speak, every argument you fight, every reaction you have, it scatters your focus. It divides your energy. It takes your attention away from what actually matters. While you're busy reacting, someone else is quietly observing, quietly learning, quietly preparing. And the moment they act, they strike with precision and power. That's the edge. The edge comes from seeing what others do not see because you stayed quiet long enough to notice. Observation in silence is not passive. It's not about doing nothing. It's about learning without wasting your energy. It's about understanding without reacting. It's about being aware when everyone else is distracted. Every detail, every gesture, every word someone says carries meaning. When you observe, you see the patterns of behavior, the habits of people, the timing of opportunities, and the gaps in the system. Most people are too busy talking to see it. Most people are too busy reacting to notice it. But the one who observes, the one who studies, the one who stays silent, they gain an invisible power that no one else can touch. Think about it. When you observe in silence, you learn patience. You learn strategy. You learn timing. Most people act too soon. Most people rush. Most people react emotionally. But the silent observer waits. They watch, they learn, they analyze. And when the moment is right, when the timing is perfect, they act. And when they act, they hit harder than anyone could imagine because their moves are calculated, precise, and strategic. That's the power of observation. It gives you the ability to act with impact. Observation also allows you to learn without exposing your weaknesses. While most people are busy talking, defending themselves, showing off, or explaining their mistakes, the silent observer is absorbing, understanding, growing. They see what works and what doesn't, what is true and what is false, what opportunity is real and what is a distraction. And this knowledge, this insight becomes a weapon. Every moment of observation becomes a step ahead. Every moment of listening becomes an advantage that the loud, reactive people will never have. Look at the people you admire, the legends, the ones who dominate their fields, the ones who inspire millions. Do you think they got there by shouting, reacting, or proving themselves all the time? No, they stayed quiet. They observed, they learned, they studied the world, the people, the patterns. They mastered the timing. And when they moved, They moved with a force and precision that left everyone else stunned. That's the power of observing in silence. It gives you foresight that others will never have. And foresight is power. Now, I want you to picture your life if you embrace this fully. Imagine stopping the wasted energy on reacting to everyone else. Imagine directing that energy into watching, learning, and analyzing. Imagine noticing opportunities that others pass by because they are too busy talking. Imagine understanding people and situations so deeply that when the time comes to act, you move with confidence, clarity, and power. That's the edge. That's the advantage. That's how the silent rise while the loud remains stagnant. Observation also builds patience. Most people can't wait. Most people can't hold back. They act impulsively. They react without thinking. They make mistakes. But the quiet observer knows that patience is the key to domination. They know that understanding comes before action. They know that timing separates the successful from the struggling. When you observe in silence, you're training yourself to wait, to calculate, to move only when the moment is right. And when you do, you move like a storm that nobody can stop. Let me challenge you right now. Think about how much energy you've wasted on arguing, explaining, defending, and reacting. Think about how much time you've spent proving yourself to people who didn't matter. Now imagine redirecting all that energy into observing, learning, and preparing yourself. Can you feel the power in that? Can you feel the edge building inside of you? That is what separates the average from the extraordinary. That is what separates the loud from the legendary. That is what separates the people who fail from the people who dominate. Observation in silence gives you the ability to see moves before they happen, to notice opportunities before anyone else, and to act with precision, clarity, and unstoppable power. It gives you patience, strategy, and insight. It makes you untouchable by distraction, immune to chaos, and ready to strike when the moment is perfect. The quiet observer is not weak. The quiet observer is strategic. The quiet observer is unstoppable. Let me tell you something most people will never understand. Silence is not empty. Silence is not weakness. Silence is a forge, a furnace, a training ground where your inner fire gets hotter, sharper, and stronger. Most people run around trying to be seen, trying to be heard, trying to prove their worth to everyone else. They talk too much. They react too quickly. And they waste energy on people, opinions, and situations that don't matter. But the person who learns the power of silence, they turn that quiet into action. They turn observation, patience, and discipline into results that shock the world. Here's the truth. Action without clarity is wasted energy. Most people move too fast. They make noise and they do everything but get results. But the silent person, the one who controls their words, controls their reactions, and controls their energy, that person moves with precision. That person's action is deadly because it comes from a place of preparation. It comes from focus. It comes from understanding. It comes from a mind that has been sharpened in silence while others have been wasting their time arguing and reacting. Think about it. The world is full of people who are busy. They are busy doing something, anything, to feel like they are moving forward. They are busy showing everyone how much they know, how much effort they are putting in. But let me tell you this, the loudest, busiest person is not always the strongest. The person who acts quietly, deliberately, and strategically is the one who wins. That is the power of silence. It allows you to turn your inner fire into unstoppable action that actually produces results. When you embrace silence, something incredible happens. You learn to act at the right time. Most people act too soon, they act too late, or they act in the wrong direction. The silent person, they observe, they analyze, they learn, and then they move. And when they move with confidence, precision, and speed. That is the difference between ordinary action and unstoppable action. That is the difference between chasing your goals and actually catching them. That is the difference between noise and results. And let me tell you something else. Silence builds resilience. Action without resilience gets you nowhere. The road to success is not smooth. Life will hit you with challenges. People will doubt you. Obstacles will try to break you. And the loud, reactive people, they give up, they panic, they complain. But the silent person, they endure, they adapt, they strategize. They let the lessons sink in while everyone else is too busy reacting. And when the moment comes to act, they are unstoppable because their fire has been tested in the quiet. Their action has been forged in preparation, patience, and discipline. Let me break it down even more. You have a fire inside you. Everyone does. The problem is most people try to show that fire before it's ready. They try to prove it to the world before they've built the strength to sustain it. They try to talk, explain, argue, and convince. And in the process, they burn out, they lose focus, they waste their energy. But when you embrace silence, you learn to nurture that fire. You learn to control it, focus it, and direct it. You let it grow quietly while everyone else is busy wasting their energy on distractions. And when it finally explodes, it cannot be stopped. It cannot be contained. It cannot be ignored. Now, I want you to picture your life if you truly mastered this. Picture yourself no longer reacting impulsively. Picture yourself no longer chasing validation or approval. Picture yourself controlling your energy, sharpening your mind, and focusing every ounce of your strength on the goals that matter most. Picture that quiet fire inside you turning into unstoppable action. Can you see it? Can you feel it? That is power. That is dominance. That is the result of silence. And here's the key. Action born from silence is fearless. When you act after observing, learning, and preparing, you act without hesitation. You act without doubt. You act with confidence that comes from knowing you are ready. You act in a way that leaves everyone else wondering, how did they do that? That is the power of silent preparation. That is the edge you have when you use your quiet moments to sharpen your skills, focus your energy, and build your strategy. Silence turns ordinary people into extraordinary people. Silence turns frustration into clarity. Silence turns impatience into timing. Silence turns wasted energy into unstoppable power. And the action that comes from this silence, it is precise, it is strong, it is impossible to ignore. It is the action that moves mountains, changes lives, and leaves a legacy. So if you want to rise above the noise, if you want to dominate your life, if you want to take your inner fire and turn it into unstoppable results, you must embrace silence. You must nurture it, respect it, and let it prepare you. Because when you do, your action will not be ordinary. It will be unstoppable. Listen to me very carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is something nobody teaches you. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not fear. Silence is not avoidance. Silence is power in its purest, rawest, most dangerous form. And the people who understand this, they move differently. They live differently. They win differently. When you master silence, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, nothing in this world can break you. Most people think the loudest one in the room is the strongest. They think the one who talks the most, argues the most, reacts the fastest is the one in control. But the truth is, that's the weakest person. The loud ones are hurting inside. They are insecure. They are shaking. They are trying to convince the world that they matter. But the one who stays silent, the one who observes, the one who listens, that person already knows they matter. They don't need to prove it. Their silence eyes the proof. Silence is where strength is built. Silence is where the mind becomes sharp. Silence is where clarity grows. Silence is where warriors prepare. When you step back from noise, from drama, from the opinions of others, you step into a space where your real self comes alive. You finally hear your own voice, not the world's voice, not your critics, not your fears, your voice. And once you hear that voice, your life changes. People fear silence because silence forces truth to rise. Silence forces you to look at who you are, where you are failing, what you are avoiding. The loud ones hide in noise because noise distracts them, but the strong ones go silent. They sit with their pain. They sit with their anger. They sit with their doubts. They sit with their fears. And right there in that stillness, they transform, they break, they rebuild, they rise. Let me give you something deep. Every great transformation in life happens in silence. Seeds grow in silence. Muscles grow in silence. Healing happens in silence. Success is built in silence. You don't see the process, you only see the results. And people will call you lucky overnight, blessed, but they never saw the nights you cried, the battles you fought, the doubts you overcame, the discipline you learned to control your emotions instead of letting your emotions control you. They never saw the silence that built you. Silence is where you become dangerous, because the person who learns to respond with silence instead of anger is the person who cannot be manipulated. The person who learns to walk away instead of reacting is the person who cannot be controlled. The person who learns to observe instead of interrupting is the person who understands everything long before anyone else does. Silence gives you X-ray vision. You see people's intentions. You see the truth. You see people's weaknesses. You see opportunities. And because you're not talking, your mind is free to think. Silence makes you unpredictable. And unpredictable people are powerful. When you're loud, people can expect you. They can read you. They can anticipate your next move. But when you move in silence, people cannot understand you, cannot prepare for you, cannot block you. Your actions hit harder because no one saw them coming. Your success hits harder because no one expected it. Your growth shocks people because they thought your silence meant losing, not preparing. But listen to me, silence is not passive. Silence is not doing nothing. Silence is strategy. Silence is training. Silence is building. Silence is storing energy instead of wasting it. Every argument you don't enter, every insult you don't return, every drama you don't participate in, that is energy saved. Energy you get to use for your goals. Energy you get to use for your vision. Energy you get to use for your purpose. People who talk too much lose their fire. They lose their focus. They lose themselves. But the person who stays silent when it matters, who observes, who thinks before they speak, this person is dangerous because their words carry weight. When they finally speak, people listen. When they finally move, things shift. When they finally act, results appear. Silence makes your words more powerful because you're not wasting them. Silence makes your actions more impactful because you're not performing for attention. Silence also protects your peace. When you argue, when you defend yourself, when you respond to negativity, you hand your power to someone else. But silence keeps your power with you. You choose when to speak. You choose when to act. You choose what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Silence gives you control over your life in a world where everyone is controlled by noise. And the truth is, the person who stays silent in the storm becomes the one who leads when the storm ends, because they didn't panic. They didn't react. They didn't break. They stayed centered. They stayed grounded. They stayed focused. And while everyone else was loud and emotional, they were calm and calculating. That is real strength. That is real maturity. That is real power. And once you understand that silence is where your strongest self is built, you will never fear silence again. You will welcome it. You will protect it. You will use it as the secret weapon it truly is. Because silence doesn't mean you are weak. Silence means you are loading. Silence means you are building. Silence means you are growing. Silence means you are becoming something the world won't be ready for. Listen to me, because this part right here might change everything for you. You've heard every word, you felt every truth, but now it's time to face yourself. Not the version you pretend to be, not the version the world thinks you are. I'm talking about the real you, the one hiding behind fear, behind doubt, behind overthinking, behind noise that never stops. And deep down, you know it. You know you've been running from your own potential. You know you've been playing small, shrinking yourself, waiting for some magical moment where everything will suddenly fall into place. But it doesn't work like that. Life doesn't shift from the outside first, it shifts from the inside. And right now, inside you, something is shaking. Something is waking up. Something is screaming, enough. Enough waiting. Enough hiding. Enough wasting time. And I need you to stop and breathe for a second, because that voice inside you, that's the real you trying to break out. That's the version of you that's tired of watching life pass by. That's the version of you that knows you were built for more discipline, more focus, more courage, more purpose. You feel it. I know you do. That pressure in your chest, that is your greatness demanding to be unleashed. Let me tell you a truth most people never understand. The silence you fear is the silence that will save you. Because in that silence, there are no excuses, no distractions, no lies. In that silence, you meet yourself face to face, honestly. And yes, it hurts because silence shows you the work you've avoided. It shows you the promises you broke to yourself. It shows you all the moments you said tomorrow when you should have said today. But that same silence also shows you something else. It shows you your strength. It shows you your power. It shows you that you are not weak. You were just noisy. You were just surrounded by everything but yourself. When you finally shut that noise off, that's when the magic starts. That's when you begin to see your own path clearly. That's when ideas come, focus comes, direction comes, purpose comes. That's when God speaks to you louder than ever before. That's when you start moving differently, walking differently, thinking differently, and people around you will feel it. They will see a shift in your eyes. They will hear a new tone in your voice. They'll ask what happened, and you won't even know how to explain it because it wasn't a big event. It was a silent decision, a decision inside your heart that said, I'm done living below my potential. And listen, the world doesn't need the quiet, scared, unsure version of you. The world needs you. They disciplined you, the unstoppable you. You make decisions, not excuses. You can walk alone if you have to. The you that doesn't beg for validation, doesn't wait for approval, doesn't depend on noise to feel alive. The world needs you to wake up with clarity, move with purpose, and stand tall, even when nobody is watching. So right now, I want you to picture the future version of yourself, the one who did the work, the one who stayed committed, the one who protected their silence, the one who didn't quit, the one who rose from a place people never thought you could rise from. That version of you is real. That version of you is possible. And the only thing standing between you and that future is the decision you make right now. You can walk away from this video and go back to the same noise, the same habits, the same distractions, or you can walk away from this video and step into silence like a warrior stepping into training. You can walk away and start listening to your own soul. You can walk away and start choosing discipline over comfort. You can walk away and start becoming the person you were always meant to be. Because once you experience the power of silence, once you learn how strong you are on the inside, once you taste what it feels like to finally be aligned with your purpose, there is no going back. There is no returning to the old you. There is no shrinking anymore. There is no fear anymore. There is only growth, only clarity, only strength, only evolution. And when that happens, the world won't just notice the new you. The world will feel the new you.